Have you been considering a floating home lifestyle? Everybody wants low maintenance. You want livability both indoors and out. After all, we don't live in floating homes because we want to spend all of our time indoors. I have my floating home, which my wife and I own, on the market. And this home is not for everyone. The asking price is $599,000. The average floating home asking price is right at $400,000. But this home's a lot more than average. And this price point is more than a lot of people are looking to spend on a floating home. But a reality check when you start looking at floating homes and find out what $300,000 or $400,000 will buy you, the value of this home becomes evident. The lifestyle provided by a floating home is amazing. Not everyone is comfortable living on the water, but for those who are, this is the perfect lifestyle. In fact, as lifestyle is concerned, I can think of no example of a quintessential definition of lifestyle than a floating home. Hello, this is Joseph Nelson with eXp Realty. I make educational videos with just a smattering of self-promotion. But I'm kind of breaking my rules in this video. This video is about my own floating home, which is for sale. And as such, a bit of disclosure. State regulations in Oregon require that as a real estate broker, we disclose any time we market a property which we have interest in. In other words, I or my spouse own. I am happy to show anybody this home who wants to view it, who's interested in this home. But when it comes to representation, I cannot represent you. Being that I'm the homeowner, it is not reasonable to think that as the principal, the seller, that I could fairly represent the buyer. How could I do an adequate job of convincing you that I am working in your best interests when I am selling my own home? Question mark. So after viewing it and you're interested in making an offer on this home, and you don't know a competent floating home realtor, and there are only about 10 of us in the Portland market, I will give you a list of realtors that I know would do an excellent job for you and representing your specific interests, and I'll represent my own. So now, with that bit of disclosure required by the state of Oregon, let's go. So I want to start with the features that make this home and homes like them a wise choice, followed by the features that make it appealing. That way I don't lose you before I have appealed to your logical side. Okay, starting with a metal roof. This home was built in the 70s originally, and in 2009 it was totally rebuilt from the studs up. So it's got a 2009 metal roof. It has Hardy brand fiber cement siding, a combination of lap siding and shake siding that looks like cedar shakes. And these are both Hardy product. Even the trim boards here are Hardy around the doors, around the windows, and on the corners. The only wood you're going to find on the exterior of this home is up underneath the soffits of the roof that extend past the walls on the home. In other words, the overhangs and the door casings. This is an upgrade from what we see typically in any home construction. Lennar, for instance, building new homes in the Portland, Vancouver area, use wood trim in combination with the Hardy siding. Holt Homes, who builds homes in the area as well, uses trim made of fiber cement like is used in my home. And these Holt homes sell for quite a bit more than a comparable Lennar home does. Next, the decking. This, again, was all new in 2009 and has been well maintained, and it is cedar. 2 years ago, it was sanded down to bare wood and restained with a few coats of Sherwin-Williams semi-transparent stain. And this summer, we power washed. We didn't need to sand it down to bare wood again because we're keeping it maintained. Every other year, we are power washing and putting on 2 more coats of semi-transparent Sherwin-Williams stain. And this was completed in July of 2022. The deck features aluminum rails around the outside edge with stainless steel cables. So there's very little visual block from the view of the river. Next, the float system. This was inspected in September of 2022 by Duck Marine. And it came out with a float rating of 4, which is what the home had when we bought it 5 years ago. And this is a testament to steel stringers as opposed to wood, because there's a barrier where there's no wood supporting your house between the logs and the joists of the home. This is as high as it gets short of a brand new home with brand new logs, and the highest score possible then is 5. The steel stringers reduce long-term maintenance on the float system. Only 10% of the homes in the Portland market have a float score of 4 and steel stringers. Now you can have a float score of 4 with wood stringers, but the longevity of wood is going to be much less than steel. A float score of 4 qualifies this home for the best and longest financing option. Even if not financed, you will enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing your float system is about as good as it gets, saving you tens of thousands over the period you own your home. I can't tell you how many floating homes I show whose owners have squeezed all of the life out of the float system, and now they're trying to sell their floating home and are realizing that it's not worth near as much as they would hoped it would have been. Realistically, many of these homes need $50,000 to $100,000 worth of float work performed. And it's reasonable to think that we can take that $50,000 to $100,000 off of the value of the home. And these repairs can be extremely invasive. The whole bottom floor needs to be torn out down to the joists so you can see the river and the logs underneath the home, which means you can have no furnishings in your bottom floor. If you have a 2-story home, you could move everything upstairs. But if you have a 1-story home, you have to move everything out. And the contractors that do this work are quite limited. This is specialized work, and their backlog is 1 year. So you're going to buy a home that needs some float work, and you negotiate a good price that would allow for you to make those repairs and still be at market value for the home. Problem is, you're going to have to wait a year. You're going to move in, you're going to wait a year to get the repairs done, and then you're going to have to move all your stuff out for 30 days while they do these repairs. So there's a huge advantage in buying a home with steel stringers and a float score of 4. Because any repairs in the future that need to be done will not involve replacing stringers, and it will not be an invasive repair. Okay, that's the logical side. Now let's move to the more emotional side, which is what you like and what my home provides in the way of features. This home is on what we call a finger row, and this is a row that goes out into the river with 6 homes, and we are on the end. Opposed to all the rest of the homes, the other 5 homes on this finger, we have river views from 3 sides of the home, and most have only a limited and sometimes pretty obstructed view of the river. So coming to the home, you have to pass 5 other homes on the finger row to get to the end, and okay, we open the door and you enter the home. The bottom floor is open concept. The whole home was completely renovated in 2009. An architect drew up the plans that the home was renovated from. All new flooring, drywall, windows, doors, electrical, plumbing, lighting, decking, siding. The interior layout was completely reconfigured. Here's a couple shots from the home before the renovation. Anyway, back to the tour. Walking in, you find no carpet. In fact, you don't know this, but there is no carpet in the entire home. Nothing but a couple area rugs. It's all engineered hardwood / laminate. So walking in, you see the entire lower level, with the exception to the left as you walk in, there is a half bath, and to the right, there is a laundry room and storage area. So you have about 700 square feet of open concept living. Living room, dining room, kitchen, only obstructed by a kitchen island. There aren't any really huge windows, but there are lots of smaller ones. There are 2 sets of French doors, one to the south and one to the east, and these have glass in them. A bay of 4 windows above the countertops in the kitchen looking south and east. So there's basically river views everywhere you look. There is one small window on the north side of the lower level that has a shade on it because you'd be looking directly at another floating home right next door. And there is no river view from that window. So we keep that one down. But that is typically what everybody would see out of both sides of their home if they were not on the end. So in the summer, we open up the set of French doors that lead out to the deck and spill onto 650 square feet of outdoor living area. To the right, a redwood and glass conservatory. That's what my wife calls it. Some would probably call it a greenhouse, but it is more of a living space than it is a place to grow plants, although we have quite a few plants in it. But it offers comfortable outdoor year-round living, especially when it's cold or rainy. There is a gas heater that you can run in the winter to make it cozy warm. And to the left, going out the French doors, there is a saltwater hot tub. Both my wife and I and the kids and grandkids love the hot tub. And if that's not enough for outdoor living, off to the west side of the home, through another set of glass French doors, is a large swim float. This area allows great storage for kayaks and boats, and of course swimming in the summer. Check out the grandkids having fun here.
Wait, really?
No. But before I tell take you to. No, I didn't.
No.
The views from any of the decks offer awesome views and sunrise and sunsets, and a lot of eye candy going by in the form of multi-$100,000 yachts. Plus, the Christmas ships pass just feet by the deck in the Christmas season 3 times. Our southern exposure to the decks and the riverside of our home offer amazing sunrise and sunsets. Okay, now let's go upstairs. You're going up the stairs on these clear, vertical grain Douglas fir stairs to a central room, which I use for an office. It's cool to look out the windows from my workstation and see the boats going by or what's happening with weather or river conditions. And there's plenty of room for a futon or Murphy bed in this center room as well. And connected to this room is a full bath with a tub shower and toilet and sink, of course. So on the east side of the upstairs is the first of 2 bedrooms. And this is my green screen room where I record these videos and, of course, this video. And this is also my wife's office. And we have a Murphy bed in this room, so it can be used as a guest room or as an office. It features 4 windows with views of the south and west. All these windows are looking at the water. And this bedroom also has a walk-in closet. On the opposite side of the center room is the master suite. As you walk into the master suite, immediately to the right is the master bathroom. This has quartz tile flooring and quartz tile surrounding the shower. And the shower has a nice glass enclosure and door. We have a quartz countertop with dual sinks and mirrors, and a private loo with a pocket door to close for privacy. Looking forward in the master bedroom are 3 windows facing south and a glass sliding door to the west. And outside of this slider is a full width balcony. So these windows or the balcony offer just awesome river views. You can actually see the river from our bed when we wake up in the morning. We know what the weather's like. We know what the water looks like. If I'm going fishing with my daughter, I know exactly what I'm going to be dealing with for the day without having to look at a weather forecast. We feel little reason for blinds or drapes in the master bedroom, but they're there if you think you need them. We prefer waking up to wildlife and God's creation. The master bedroom also has a walk-in closet. So what else can I tell you? Well, the boats are parked right off the swim float. This home is located on this middle of a 5-mile stretch of a no-wake zone where the maximum speed is 5 miles an hour. You can get to the open Columbia either to the north or the south within 10 minutes. The Willamette River is 20 minutes away by boat. Salmon fishing is world class on both the Columbia and the Willamette Rivers. Sturgeon fishing right in our harbor. My daughter and I regularly fish. Our spot is 15 minutes away. And we regularly catch keeper sturgeon. And the best part, when you're done fishing or boating, you just come back and tie up your boat. There's no boat trailer to deal with, launching, putting the boat back on the trailer and driving to wherever you're going. No, we drive the boat to the dock and we tie it up and we're done. There is especially beautiful scenery, especially at sunset. An evening sunset cruise around the island is 12 miles, and you will see all of the floating home communities on Hayden Island and Marine Drive. You will see the open water side of the Columbia River, including the new Vancouver waterfront, where you can tie up and walk and shop and have a meal. And then there is the deck and the island cafe, both of which you can boat to and tie your boat up and have a meal. My wife and I boat to either the deck or the Island Cafe periodically, especially like for an anniversary meal, and we never have to get in the car. There are some great beaches within 10 minutes of the house, and the only way you can get to these beaches is by boat. There is no public land access to these beaches, and our grandkids love this. But even at home, the grandkids and kids love swimming. Last year when it was 117 degrees, everybody was in and out of the water frequently. And swimming right off of the swim float can be an all-day event. In the summer, the water temperature gets up to about 72, 73 degrees, which is still brisk. It's not Hawaii, but it's not take your breath away cold either. And in the summer, the river current gets pretty slow and sometimes non-existent. We've made a rope and dollar store pool noodle enclosure for the grandkids so they know how far that they're allowed to go when they swim. And if for some reason they get swept down river, they get as far as the pool noodles and they can hang on to that. And of course, they're always wearing life jacket. Then we've got a 20-foot long floaty mat that the kids can play on all day without getting cold because they're not submerged in the water. So here's a nice video of the fun the grandkids have on that mat. So even though this video was a lot about my home for sale, it also describes the floating home lifestyle that is available at just about any of the homes on Hayden Island or Marine Drive, and also the benefits of a good float score. If you would like to view this home, please call, text, or email me. This home won't last long, and the home is available now, and when it's sold, I will remove this video from YouTube. And with that, peace be with you, and thank you.